What is the perfectionist mindset? The perfectionist mindset. Something I feel like we all. Actually, not all of us have that. No, that's not true. It's when you feel like you have to do something perfectly, and you will do whatever it takes to do that again. Whether it's redoing an art piece or just like adjusting something. Just it's when you try and try again and do something so much to where you want it to be perfect. Like it's bothering you if it's not perfect. Like for me, I can't think of an instance that this was the case necessarily. I've probably had a few shoots though where it's been the case that I've like done that multiple times where I was just trying to reshoot something, but I didn't like how it looked, and so I went back over and over and over until it was like perfect. But it was actually that perfectionist mindset that taught me that perfect is like perfect is an imaginary concept. It's something that we think is real or that's achievable, but at least to me, like whenever I hear the word perfect, I'm like, it doesn't exist. Realistically, like perfect is just a figment of your imagination. It's not something that's achievable because everything is going to have some amount of flaws or isn't perfect or just like perfect is a different definition for every single person. Like if you looked at the first video I ever posted, like obviously I'm not going to think that it was perfect, but who knows? There might be another person out there who thinks completely differently than me. They might think that, oh my god, it's like the best video ever. With media too, especially like anything creative and whatnot, it's not necessarily meant to be perfect because it's just not. It's not that way. Perfect isn't really a realistic. What's the word? Perfect isn't something that you should strive for, but you should strive for something that is like impressive. There we go. Replace anytime you put perfect with impressive. There's probably a better word out there to put that with, but we're rolling with it. A time that I thought that I was being a perfectionist. I mean, I don't know. Like as a kid, I feel like there were always those moments where I like drew something or I did something a certain way, and I'm like, I like it, but I don't really like it because it's not my idea of perfect. And we all have that kind of concept idea of like perfectionism and whatnot. But, it's not that you necessarily can turn that off really easily because it takes a while. But it's finding out what that balance is of like using that perfectionism to really work on whatever you're working on or do whatever you're doing, but also not let it like take over to the point where you're like where you're what's the word? Where it just takes over and where you're not even doing it funny or where you're not doing something just to have fun. Like at that point, if you're doing something but you're just striving for perfection every time, it's like, why are you even doing it if it's just to be perfect? If it's just to have this idea of perfectionism, why are you just continuing to do it if it's putting so much strain on yourself? Perfectionism. So, the Google definition of perfectionism: a personality trait characterized by a strong drive for flawlessness and setting excessively high standards, often accomplished by critical self-evaluations and concerns from others' perspectives. Yeah, so I'm going to break it down for you. When it says a strong drive for flawlessness and excessively high standards, it basically means, like, you're striving to not have anything go wrong, you're striving to not have anything look out of place, not have anything be weird or wrong. It's like by the books. Whatever your definition of perfect is, this will probably be different, but you're striving to not only do your best, but like your best is the only option. I know I have a few friends who were like this in high school with sports too, where like they took that stuff seriously, especially like wrestling, like the dietary needs and the amount of like discipline you have to put, not only like during the match. Sports are a thing. I never realized how big like sports were a thing that you had to really put a lot of effort into, like not only like during practice, but like outside. Because I mean, I knew that was a thing, but I guess I never really saw the like outside of school seriousness that a lot of athletes actually put forward when it comes to like eating or training or whatever. Because I used to have a few friends who, like, I was talking to them about this, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like the amount of stuff that I would eat, or the amount that I would weightlift," and I'd be like, "You did this while you were in high school and managed good grades?" Like, I barely managed to graduate, let alone because of the pandemic. But yeah, like, back on track. It's just so funny to think about, because I'm like, oh, like, that's a good example of why perfectionism really takes over when it's like a sport, or when it's a, like, I don't know, when it's just something that takes over and it becomes almost unhealthy. But I get it. It's a lot of people chase the grind too, just like the feeling, and you're doing a lot of good stuff for your body too. It's just, I worry about someone's mental health with sports. Like, the mental discipline you gotta have, whether it's you're cutting weight, losing weight, building muscle, like, eating, to me, as someone who wants to go into the fitness industry as like a personal trainer, I know that, like, eating is like like easily over 50% of what you have to focus on. I would say about like 70% of whatever it is you're doing, and I would say, like, majority rest is like actually training for what you're doing, and then etc., like sleep and whatever. But like, eating is a big part, because that's where you're going to really see your results. You can train as hard as you want in the gym, but if you're not fueling your body the fuel that you need, like, you're not doing your no. I like how we got on the topic of like bodybuilding and personal training, but yeah, perfectionism. Long story short, don't always feel like you have to strive for perfectionism, because it's not like, you don't have to strive for it every time. Like, it's okay getting second place. I mean, shoot, that's what I strive for my whole life. I feel like just striving for achieving that second place, and then not really feeling like I got it. But then just being okay with, like, hey, I don't have to be perfect at everything. Granted, I don't think I really can think of one thing that I won in my life, but I definitely can't think of one time that I was unhappy with getting like second place at something, or just not feeling content with whatever it is I'm doing. Because if I'm not feeling content with what I'm doing, I typically feel like I need to reevaluate myself or whatever it is that I'm doing, because I don't feel like it should be real that you just like beat yourself up over not getting first place, or not just, like, you did your best. As long as you know that you did your best, that's genuinely the mindset that I have. I know I could probably never be an athlete with that kind of mindset. But anyways, that's about all the time I have for today's talk, whatever we're calling this thing now. But yeah, if you did enjoy today's video, please do consider subscribing. Leave me some comments. Send me a jacket, because it's cold out here. And I will see you guys in the next one. Remember to be true to yourselves and be true to other people. Bye.